And there is a new campaign aimed at encouraging more of that production to return to Los Angeles and stay in Los Angeles after the wildfires. It's called Stay in LA, and it was organized by independent filmmaker Sarah Adina Smith and screenwriter Alexandra Peckman. They both join us live in studio right now. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having us here.
Turbulent times, yes, to say the least, and it has been for a long time. It was Survive 25 before, just trying to make it to 2025. We had COVID, we had all kinds of things happening, the strikes, and then now the fires. Tell me just about the state of the business right now.
Exactly. I think people had already been through so much. And as you said, survive till 25 was the mantra. And then January 2025, we get these terrible fires. And it really felt ominous for a lot of people. And they started to think about, can I stay in LA? Can I stay in a place where work has dried up? And we have decided that this really needs to be a wake-up call moment, and it motivated a bunch of filmmakers and showrunners to get together to shine a light on this issue and bring production back to LA.
And this was already an issue that people were talking about, years before the fires.
Yes, I mean, last summer was the second slowest summer on record in LA. And we've been hearing not just from people in the industry, but outside of the industry, a friend who's a cafe owner saying, how am I going to lead my staff through yet another crisis after COVID, after the strikes, now the fires? It affects everyone in our business when production leaves LA.
Yeah, the trickle down effect is massive for so many businesses here in LA. But you have some pretty big names on board.
We do. It's been great to see an outpouring of support. And yes, it's really awesome that we've got a lot of sort of celebrities coming out to sign their names. But even, I think, more meaningful are people who are not even in our industry who are starting to raise the alarm about this issue. Because Ali said this is an issue that it affects the entire city. When production leaves LA, a lot of money leaves LA. A lot of small businesses are having to shutter their doors or cut down on their staff because they can't afford the amount of employees they used to. So one really poignant example is an architect who reached out to us who said he used to have a staff of 39 employees. Wow. And that was because productions every once in a while would rent out his office space to shoot. And with the lack of inquiries, he's down to 17, and a lot of them are part-time. So it's people like that who you wouldn't necessarily expect are also connected to the film and TV industry, and it's a ripple effect that really will ricochet across the entire city if we continue to hemorrhage production like this.
Absolutely. And another discussion when I've talked to people in the film industry and just production in general, TV, they say it's about tax incentives too. Long before the fires, they were saying, well, if we can go to Canada or New Mexico or Nevada or another country in Europe and save money on tax incentives, we're going to do it, especially the independent filmmakers.
Yes, I mean, our tax incentive program is not competitive with the rest of the country or the world, and that's why our campaign is asking to uncap the tax incentive program to let any number of people apply, and also asking studios and streamers to commit 10% more production to LA. And we really see this as part of the emergency relief effort for LA County after the fires and getting people back to work. We have statistics that for every $1 invested into these programs, $24 of increased economic activity results, over $8 increased income and wages. So there's a really real effect that this could have.
And the governor did make some changes recently, but did it go far enough? I mean, how are you making progress with this demand?
I want to say that for a lot longer than we've been working on this, people have been tirelessly working to change the tax incentive in California. And the governor's proposed budget of raising the cap to $750 million is a huge deal. That still needs to pass in July at the state legislature level. So that's really important. But what we're saying is that's not enough for Los Angeles right now. In terms of emergency relief and rebuilding the city, we have to put the city back to work. And it's a complex issue. It's not something that only an uncapped tax incentive can solve. It has to be in partnership with studios and streamers doing their part to help the community by bringing work back here. But also anyone with influence, whether it's a prominent actor or a director who has a lot of sway, if your project is supposed to be in Los Angeles, if it's set here, then shoot it where it's set. Use whatever influence you can to bring production back.
That's a good point. What other economic relief or incentives do you think need to be a part of this package?
It's a pretty complex issue. So it's not just a money problem. It's also there are things that need to change to make it easier to apply and receive that money. Even people, a lot of people we've talked to have said that the permits are so expensive in LA with Film LA. So that's another thing that could change. And it's really just, once you get into the nitty gritty, it's sort of a complex list of issues that would make it easier for people to access the incentive and shoot in LA.
I think, for us, this is a complicated, complex issue. I mean, we've both sought out budgets, in California or outside, and tax incentives are difficult to understand. And I think a big part of our campaign is just getting people to talk about it, getting people educated on why is it that more isn't filming in LA, and the tax incentive program is a big part of it, and what could we be doing to be more competitive? Our
big message is that this is about creating jobs. This is not a tax break for the Hollywood elite. This is not just a corporate handout. This is about creating really good middle class and working class jobs, and about rebuilding our city.
And letting people keep those jobs as well. So it's a very valiant effort. We look forward to following it, and we appreciate both of you coming in today. So early, too. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And for more on the Stay in LA campaign, you can check out our website, kcalnews.com, and click Seen on TV.